Hello, hello. Namaste, everybody. Happy Sunday. My name is KJ Hamus, and this is our 60-minute yin class. I'm currently just talking to myself on this live video, so I'm just going to keep talking to myself for another minute. Hello, friend. As people start to join us again, namaste. Welcome to our 60-minute yin yoga class for the upper body today. So if you're suffering from what I'm now referring to as puzzle back, that feeling of, okay, I'm going to stare over the puzzle, that really teeny tiny 1,500 piece puzzle and figure it out, then this class is definitely for you. Or if you're working in funny places at the moment at your kitchen table or your couch or wherever there's not great support, you might be feeling a lot of tension in the upper body. So that is what we will be focusing on today. Take a moment and we'll make sure you have all your props. So a long pillow or a couple other pillows, so you have sturdiness. Hi, Mama. And then a blanket. With this blanket too, you want to make sure it's sort of folded. You can either roll it up or fold it. So it has got a couple of different layers, almost if you were folding, like making croissants or pastry dough or whatever. So like half and then half again. And then 2 yoga blocks or 2 books, depending on what supplies you've got around the house. So we can easily make that work. Board games work too. If you've got board games at good height and you feel the boxes are sturdy, then that is the jam. So go ahead and take a moment, get that situation. I'm just putting my phone on Do Not Disturb because I do use it as a timer for class. But I will not be checking email. That I promise you. See, timer. So we're all set and ready to go. Yes. Hi, Kate. And all right. So as everybody's got their props, go ahead and just put those off to the side. We're going to get started on our back. And if you'd like a little something under your knees, maybe you take your rolled up blanket or your fold up blanket and gently place that underneath your knees. Or you could always use one of your pillows or anything like that. And just place that underneath the knees. We do want to keep the neck on the ground, so nothing too high for the most part, and everything like that. So we're going to go ahead and come onto our backs and start to get situated here. So maybe you wiggle around a little bit. I don't know. So when your dog or your cat wants to move around the blanket a little bit and they use their paws to get it into that right spot. Do that a little bit here, just so you can open up the back. Bring the arms out to the sides, palms face up. Palms can face down, down for grounding or up to receive energy. And whenever you're ready, let's take a deep, slow breath in through the nose. And exhale, open the mouth, sigh it out. Let it go. Deep, slow breath in through the nose. And exhale, open the mouth, sigh it out, let it go. One more breath here, full breath in through the nose. And exhale, sigh it out. Orienting yourself in space and time. The space being here and the time being now. So knowing for the next 60 minutes, all you need to do is be present on your mat. So not worrying about what has already passed. More importantly, not worrying about what is yet to come. So letting go of what's already happened up until this moment. Thanking the day for what it has brought to you. Maybe not thanking it, depending on the day. You could be like, good riddance. Let it go. Just start to bring a gentle awareness to your breath in this moment. Feel the breath ebb and flow in the body. Just notice how the breath moves. Starting to tune into our senses here as we begin to draw that focus more inwardly with the breath. So taking a moment to notice the taste in the mouth. Notice the smells on the inside of the nose. First, feel the clothes wrap around the body, and then start to tune in to the muscle wrapping around the bone. As your eyes are closed, that feels comfortable. Take a moment to notice any residual light across the eyelids, then the back of the eyes. And then along with the sounds, start to draw the sight and sound inward. Beginning just to paint a picture of what you're bringing with you on your mat today. So notice the areas in the body of tension, emotion, or other sensation. Not worrying about changing anything, just noticing, becoming aware. And it's during this scan, we might start to wander toward future happenings, toward what's going to happen for dinner, when will this be over, our to-do list for tomorrow. And when those things start to happen, take a moment when you become aware of that and go, what am I avoiding right here that's causing me to look toward the future? And just check back in with the body. Check back in with the emotions. Maybe you pinpoint a particular emotion that's sort of taking hold. Maybe this is a moment where you feel safe to just step into it a little bit. For many of us, we might be feeling like we've been in our house for ages. As much as we love our homes, it can be really challenging. We can start to feel a bit more isolated. Finding ways to entertain ourselves can be an interesting task each day. And so that can bring with it a lot of emotions and a lot of feelings. As you move throughout your practice, just start to notice. You don't have to notice them all. Maybe you pick one or two that are the most present. And see if we can use this time to just start to melt away that feeling a little bit. Take just another few more breaths here, gentle and easy. Beginning to let the shoulders sink into the mat. Let the calves and the thighs release. The neck and the head grow nice and heavy. So for our breathing exercise today, we're going to take a 2-part breath. And we want to use our breath throughout our practice to help us just ease into the shapes. And this is also going to help us move the energy around in the body so we might get a better sense of where we're stuck and what could use a little bit of love. So we're going to begin to breathe in and out through the mouth. And at any point during this practice, if you start to become agitated or the eyes are beginning to wander, or you just would prefer not to do this, continue being here in Savasana and breathing gently in and out through the nose. So we'll breathe in 2 inhales, first into the low belly and into the chest. And then exhale out through the mouth. So keep going there. gentle as you can be. You're not going to take a full breath on the inhale, and you'll likely take a shorter exhale. Do your best to keep the breath out of the shoulders and not moving the shoulders away from the ears. At any point, if you need to stop, lick your lips, swallow, do that. We're going to be with this breath exercise for about 3 minutes. Again, having it help us move the energy in the body. So keep breathing here. And you might start to add some vocalizations. So maybe it's a loud sigh out, starting to wake up the throat chakra. Maybe it's a lower hum. Maybe it's a word or phrase that's going to help you in your practice. Maybe that word or phrase is your intention here. Ah. 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 About halfway there, keep breathing, stay with it. And again, if you come out of it, that's great. Just stay with the breath, breathing in and out softly through the nose. About 30 seconds left here. Notice what sensations are occurring in the body. You might be going from cooling to warming. You might start to feel things loosen up or things get stuck. Take a few more breaths here. And then as you're ready, let go of control of the breath. Just letting the breath return to its natural rhythm. Taking one more full body scan. Also using this time to set an intention or focus for your practice. Let it be as simple as a word or a small phrase. If nothing comes to mind, I offer up one of let it go. Not the Frozen song. The actual ability to let, maybe it does go with the Frozen. I'm going to go on a tangent. Not really. Just to let the outside world go. See if we can let some of the tension we're holding on to in our body go. On your next inhale, reach the arms and the legs nice and long. And then as you're ready, go ahead and roll over onto your left side. I'm going to roll over onto my right so I can face you all. Pause here. Curl up in a ball and give yourself a really big hug. Show yourself a little bit of love today. Know that you are enough and that you're awesome. And then from here, as you're feeling settled, slowly start to press up and come into a standing forward fold. We're going to come into dangling pose. So with dangling, depending on where your hamstrings are at, is going to be a big indicator of how you want to bend the knees. So do make sure the feet are at least hips width distance apart, roughly 2 fists width, and bend the knees. This is where one of your yoga blocks or books could come in real handy, just to bring the ground a little closer to you. Almost start to think of the body like spaghetti. I can't say it like those beautiful Italian chefs, so I'm going to say it in my very Midwestern way, spaghetti. And just let the head hang nice and heavy. Maybe move back and forth on your feet. Rock gently from side to side. So as we start to work into the upper body, we'll be here for 3 minutes. So we start to work into the upper body. We're thinking about broadening across the back. So letting the head hang nice and heavy, the neck hang long, as we begin to loosen the ligaments along the spine. Let the shoulders do what they wish. Just try not to hold them up. Start to really release and let them go into the earth. So wherever your hands or your feet are planted, know that you are supported by Mother Earth, and you can feel the energy enter in the body from the energy around you and from the earth. Just keep a gentle breath in and out through the nose here. I'm tucking my shirt so it doesn't fall in my face. Continue to breathe. So as we move into our yin shapes, we'll practice the 3 main principles. The first being finding the appropriate depth for the body. So only going to about a 70%, and that's where our props can help us find that 70%. And within that appropriate depth, a sub-principle is using the breath to help us ease into the shape. We don't want to just go immediately to what we think is the end. Work into that, listen to the body, listen to the breath. Second is going to be time. As I mentioned, we're going to be in this shape for 3 minutes, and we'll hold our other shapes through various times. It's that time that allows us to really work into the connective tissues, the fascia of the body. And then finally, stillness. It's within stillness that the mind can begin to slow. The muscles can take a break so they can put weight on the fascia. We can start to open that up. So again, breath here is going to play a big role in finding stillness. And that's a really hard thing to practice, is stillness. I think it's probably the most challenging part of this practice. And some days we're going to be great at it, and some days not so much. If today is a not so much day, maybe just inquire as to why. Why is the brain moving you out of this shape? Why is it moving you into the future? We've got 30 seconds left here. Let's all take a deep, slow breath in and a deep, slow breath out. Very gently, slowly bend through the knees. Start to uncurl the vertebra one at a time. Take your time. Because we've been folded forward for 3 minutes. You don't want to go stand up really straight to end right back on the ground. That would be bad. Take your time. And then as you're ready, let's go ahead and come on down. We're going to sit on our shins for just a moment, on our knees. And just bring our hands to our shoulders as we start to get into some more shoulder and back. Just take a few circles here, up and back, and notice where your shoulders are at this evening. So how far up do they want to rotate in? Making sure you're going in both directions. And as you do that, even as you take that movement, you're still breathing just gently. And check back in with the emotions here, especially after coming out of dangling pose. What do you notice? How do you feel? And then gently begin to release. Our next shape is going to be mantis pose. So mantis, Looks surprisingly a lot like child's pose. It's because it is. So a couple of things we can do here. Knees can be as wide as the mat. Big toes can touch. Arms can be out nice and long. Forehead can be on the mat, or you can draw one cheek to the mat, and I will give you the indication if you take that when we're halfway through so you can switch. You can always, for a lower back stretch, bring the knees underneath the body and sit back. To work into the shoulders a bit more, you can offer praying mantis. So you can do this with or without your books or your blocks. With the blocks, you'll place the elbows on the blocks or your books and clasp the hands in a prayer position. Draw the thumb behind you to the nape of the neck and let the head hang nice and heavy on the ground. Feel free to always maybe place your blanket behind the knees if you're feeling some tension there. Just provide a little bit of extra cushion, or maybe, again, bring the feet closer toward the butt by doing that as well. For the shoulder variation, you can do that without the blocks if you wish. It's really up to you. And we'll be here for 3 minutes. So as you're settling in here, really find where you can breathe. So as you inhale, feel the mind get smaller. And as you exhale, feel the mind expand, but get soft as it's moving away and toward the edges. So it's not thinking as it expands, just getting soft. You're about halfway through. If you've got one cheek to the mat, please switch it over so you can just even out a little bit. About 30 seconds left here. Continue to stay with your breath. Stay here in this moment. From here, take a full breath in, full breath out. And just slowly come on out of the shape. Move any props off to the side and slide onto your belly for puddle pose. So puddle pose can be taken on the belly, it can be taken on the back, it could even be taken in child's pose or maybe on the side, giving yourself that hug again. This is just an opportunity for us to check back in with the body, check back in with how you're feeling. So take a very gentle body scan. Notice what might have opened up. physically, what might have been released mentally and emotionally, and what might have arisen with all three. Hopefully some energy, some stagnant energy has been released and it's starting to move around the body. We'll take one more full breath here and full breath out. So we're going to come into mummy pose next. We're going to use Sphinx as a gateway. So we're come up onto your forearms, untuck the back toes, or if you'd like, you can place your blanket or your bolster, your pillow, underneath the ankles here. Starting on our left side, we're going to thread our left arm underneath our right. There are three variations you can take. The first is going to be just by extending the right arm for half mummy. The second will be bending the right arm, using it as a pillow for sleeping mummy. And the third is where both arms are going to cross the body, palms will face up for mummy attempting to give itself a hug, not yet quite succeeding. Probably because it's practicing social distancing of itself. I don't know. Anywho. So we're going to hang out here. Feel free to use a block on the forehead. Again, feel free to place maybe something under the ankles to help the low back. That might help. We're going to be here for 3 minutes on each side. And I'll give you the 30-second warning. So we're at that point where I let you focus on your breath. And again, try and do your best to stay here in this moment. And if the mind begins to wander, maybe question, just go, why? Or if thoughts begin to come up, just say, no, thank you. And gently just move them off to the side, putting them on a shelf for later. The shape is helping us work into our upper back, into the trapezius, and into the rhomboids. We have about 30 seconds left here. And take a deep, slow breath in and a deep, slow breath out. Begin to gently unwind and find your way to your puddle. So on the back, on the belly, child's pose, curled up, or maybe it's a seated position. Just wherever you can find stillness. If you always gravitate toward one cheek on the mat, maybe switch to the other, evening it out. And check back in with the body. Notice how you feel. Take a deep breath in, deep breath out. Draw your forehead to the mat and then just rock the forehead from side to side, massaging out the temples, maybe releasing the neck a little bit. And then as you're ready, start to find your way back to Sphinx pose. And this time we're going to thread the right arm underneath the left. So left arm can be straight, half mummy, bent, sleeping mummy, or mummy attempting to give itself a hug with both arms across. Palms will face up. So each side can feel very different because each side is not the same, and we don't want to treat them the same. We want to be loving and understanding to what they're bringing to the table. So as you start to settle into this shape for the next 3 minutes, I invite you to concentrate on a positive feeling you're having. Doesn't have to be anything big. Just in terms of all your feelings, is there one positive thing? And if a positive feeling isn't coming up, maybe focus on one thing you're grateful for from today or from this whole weekend. It is Sunday, by the way, in case you're playing the what day is it game. And as you concentrate on that feeling or that place of gratitude, see if you can breathe into it. Think of it almost in a bubble. Can you just slowly breathe into that bubble to help it grow? And as always, you can just continue to focus on the breath, receiving the breath in through the nose and out through the nose. Feeling the cool air enter in and the warm air be returned back to the earth. About 30 seconds left here. Take a full breath in, full breath out. Gently, slowly unwind and find your way to your puddle. In some classes we take puddle after every shape, some after just a few, sometimes not at all. I don't know about you, but it feels like a time when we just need to be able to find peace in our rest. Hopefully this is an opportunity for that to take place. Take one more full breath in here. Full breath out. If you're ready, roll over onto your left side. Pause for a moment. Give yourself a really big hug. Remind yourself of your awesomeness. And then using your hands gently start to come up. So the next shape we're going to take is going to be an open shoulder shape. So it's really important to understand, particularly about this shape, and as we work a bit more into the shoulders, is just the range of motion in our shoulders. So we're going to bring our bolster or our pillow to one side, wherever the top is of your mat. And you may then decide to use your rolled up blanket here if you'd like. From here, your legs can be in Supta Baddha Konasana, so reclined butterfly pose, and maybe you bring your blocks or your books underneath your knees, or they can be out nice and straight, or just an easy seat. You want the top of the head at the bottom of the bolster, so it's just like kind of pressing in, and the blanket, however rolled up it might be, is just going to be underneath the shoulder blades, supporting the shoulders. And then from here, you're going to place your arms on your bolster, on your pillow. Depending on your range of motion today or how tight the shoulders are, you might actually want two to stack up a little bit to give yourself support. This is definitely one of those shapes where we're not going to force ourselves into something that it just isn't ready for. As you continue to loosen up, you might take away some support, or you might revisit this shape later on in the week and see if you need more support, less support from there. Put some gel on my feet. This might be a good time, if you don't have any layers on, to throw on a layer or use the blanket to support the warmth of the body. And then this is the longest held shape we're going to have today. We're going to be here for 5 minutes. And at the beginning, that sounds like a lot. You're like, what? We're going to try and not think about that. So as you're here, start by just taking a couple of breaths in and out. Gentle cleansing breaths. I invite you to stay with whatever breath exercise you've been working with, gently in and out through the nose. I've recently been practicing 10 long breaths, which is something that I have personally found to be really good throughout the day, just to help keep me present in the moment, or when anxiety tends to take hold, I stop and I do this. Again, this is totally just an offering, an invitation, one you can eat RSVP, no thank you to. So meeting at the bottom of an exhale, let's breathe, let's receive the breath in for 1. And return it for 1. Inhale, 2. Exhale, 2. Inhale, 3. Exhale, 3. Inhale, 4. Exhale, 4. Receive the breath in 5. Offer up the breath for 5. Continue the last 5 on your own. And feel free to start over. Just let that go. Whatever path you choose, start to allow yourself to just sink into the mat, starting to release a little more. About 30 seconds left here. Time flies when you're having fun. Take a deep, slow breath in, and a deep, slow breath out. Gently release the arms, straighten the legs. Maybe remove anything from the back. Just pause here, checking back in with the body. What do you notice? How do you feel? And as you're ready, roll onto your left side. Rolling onto my right so I can face you all. Curl up for a moment. Big hug. And then roll onto your belly. You may want a block here for this. You can move your other props off to the side. And I'm going to demonstrate this from 2 different angles so you can see the whole thing. We're going to come into our open wing shape, working into the front side of the body, working into the front side of the shoulder. So we'll start with our Left arm out at a half T. Bring your right hand underneath your right shoulder as if you were coming into a baby cobra. From here, you're going to roll on to the left side and draw the knees into the chest. This is where I will adjust. So you might want to block for the head, just depending on what you notice about the neck here. So you want to keep the rest of the spine in line. And then from here, with both knees bent, you're going to bring one knee out and one knee back, almost in two 90-degree angles. And that's where a block can come in handy too, because I find my knee doesn't, in this internal rotation, it's like, I don't want to go to the ground. The ground's no fun. So it just needs a little extra support from the block. From here, the right hand can stay here, or it can just come behind you. As you're rolling onto the left side, press into the left pinky side of the hand. And notice how that might change the shape. It might make it too intense. It might make it just the Goldilocks point, which is what we're going for. So we're going to be here then for 3 minutes. Again, our timer is started. So find your breath. Allow yourself to close your eyes. Don't worry about the dirt underneath the table, cabinets. Just be here right now. Notice if you're clenching the jaw, grinding the teeth. Soften through the jaw, put a little space in between the teeth as the tongue releases from the roof of the mouth. About 30 seconds left here. Take a deep breath in, deep breath out. Gently unwind. Just come back through center for a very brief puddle pose. Check back in. Notice how you feel. And then as you're ready, we're going to come onto the other side. So let's bring our right arm out to a half T. Left arm is going to plant underneath the shoulder. Roll onto the right side, bend at the knees, draw the knees in. You can keep them there if you prefer, or you can start to bring them out to that double 90-degree angle, if you will, placing a block wherever you might need it. And then really press into the pinky edge side of the right hand. And breathe here. We'll be here for 3 minutes. Always feel free to use a block for the head. Again, try and keep the cervical spine in line with the rest of the neck, or the body, excuse me. And if you've been feeling a little bit of tension in the joint, the part that's really making contact with the ground, consider maybe balling up your blanket to place underneath, just to provide a little extra. About 30 seconds left here. Take a deep breath in, deep breath out. Begin to slowly roll onto your belly, pausing for just a moment. And as you're ready, roll onto your back. Draw your knees into your chest. Bring the arms out nice and wide to a T. And then drop the knees over to the left. Gaze to the right. Gentle supine twist. Feel free to prop the shoulders up on a block or two. Letting go of anything that isn't serving you. On your next inhale, draw the knees back through center. Drop the knees over to the right, gaze to the left. Inhale, draw the knees back through center. A few rock and rolls from side to side. And then release everything into the earth, Savasana, final resting pose. Feel free to place anything underneath the knees that might feel good, whether that's blanket, blocks, your bolster. Feel free to take this shape on your belly or even in a child's pose, but do try and let go. Let everything release into the earth. Feel the tension melting away from the body, away from the mat, away from the space that you're in. See if you can find peace in this moment. Letting yourself truly rest. Begin to invite some gentle movement back into the body. Wiggling fingers and toes. The arms and the legs long overhead. Take a full body stretch. And then roll over onto your left side. Pause for a moment. And as you're ready, begin to gently find your way up to a comfortable seat. Sitting here, noticing the breath, noticing how you feel. Calling on the intention or focus you set at the beginning of your practice. Honoring it here. As we bring our hands to our heart space, let's bow our heads in a moment of gratitude, thanking ourselves for making time for our mat today, and silently thanking those who joined us tonight to create this virtual community. Even though we can't be together in person, we're all together supporting one another. As we raise our thumbs to the space between the eyes, the third eye center, the seat of the intuition. Call upon the wisdom that's already inside as you move throughout the rest of your evening and into tomorrow. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a great evening, and I will see you all hopefully tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Bye, everybody.